Today, we're looking at something a little different. This isn't your typical story about business success. No, this is a powerful gut punch of a warning from a 78-year-old man who got everything he ever thought he wanted, only to find out he'd lost the only thing that actually mattered. This is his story, a true cautionary tale about the real price of ambition.
Wow. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That's the heart of his entire story, right there. It's just so brutally honest. While he was out there building this massive business empire, he was, in his own words, taking a wrecking ball to his own home. This one sentence, it really sets the stage for everything that comes next.
So, where did that path actually lead him? Well, decades down the road, he's living in this empire he built, all right? But he's the only one in it, a population of just one. Let's take a look at the life that he created for himself. He is 78 years old. And that number is so important here. Because, this isn't some fleeting regret from a guy in his 30s. This is the heavy, settled wisdom that only comes from looking back over an entire lifetime of choices. It's the kind of perspective you can only really get from the finish line. This right here just paints such a stark picture, doesn't it? On the surface, he has it all. The beautiful house, right on the water, the ultimate symbol of success. But the reality? Well, the reality is just profound loneliness. Every single meal he eats is a silent reminder of all the voices that used to be there and just aren't anymore. He talks about success almost like it's a person, a terrible companion. It can give you status, it can give you wealth for sure, but it gives you zero comfort, zero real connection. He learned the hard way that you can't have a conversation with a bank account. It doesn't talk back. Okay, so how did he end up here? I mean, it wasn't some sudden collapse. It was more like a series of choices that all led up to one single, pivotal decision, a choice that would basically set the course for the next several decades of his life. This timeline is just brutal. It's 1998. On the exact same day his daughter Sarah is getting married, a $10 million deal comes down to the wire. The sellers in Chicago give him an ultimatum. You get here by 2 p.m. to sign, or the deal is off the table. And he chose the deal. A transaction was completed and a wedding was missed. Just like that. And this is the lie he told himself. It's the justification so many of us use, right? I'm doing this for them. I'll make it up to them later. It's that little piece of self-deception that lets us trade something irreplaceable for something that, in the end, is totally replaceable. So this was the trade. Look at these two rooms. On one side, you have a once-in-a-lifetime moment. A father walking his daughter down the aisle. Laughter, music, love. And on the other side, a sterile, windowless boardroom, stale coffee, and a signature on a piece of paper. When you lay it out like this, the choice seems completely insane. But in the heat of the moment, ambition, man, it can be blinding. And that one choice on that one day, it wasn't just about missing a wedding. It was the tipping point. It really began the slow demolition of his family, a process that would eventually leave him feeling like a guest in his own life. By 2005, his company was worth over $100 million. By every external metric you could possibly use, he had won. He'd reached the absolute pinnacle of financial success. But that victory came at a staggering cost. So right after he hits that financial peak, he hits a personal rock bottom. His wife, Catherine, she delivered the words that he says still haunt him to this day. The kids needed a father, not a provider. I needed a husband, not a paycheck. He had just fundamentally misunderstood his role in his own family. 3 months later, she filed for divorce. And this is where the story comes full circle. Years later, his daughter Sarah got married for a second time, and he saw the ultimate consequence of his absence. Her stepfather walked her down the aisle. The role of father, it had been filled by someone else, a man whose primary qualification was that he just showed up. He wasn't walking her down the aisle. He was just a guest, watching someone else live the life he'd given away. So that brings us back to today. He's sharing all this not because he wants sympathy, but because he wants it to be an urgent warning. He wants his life's biggest regret to become our greatest lesson before it's too late for us. So these are the truths it took him an entire lifetime to really understand. First, that your family doesn't need your money as much as they just need you. That your presence is so much more valuable than any presence. Next, that every choice you make teaches your kids where they rank in your life.
And maybe most critically, this idea of making it up later, it's a total fantasy. Time only moves forward, and those moments, once they're gone, they are not refundable.
And so he leaves us with this final, really powerful question. When all the deals are finally done, when the career is over and the house goes quiet for good, what are you going to be holding on to? The cold comfort of success or the warmth of the relationships you actually took the time to build? It's a question we all have to answer for ourselves, and hopefully we answer it long before we turn 78.